Good evening to you once again on the business segment. In today's ballot brief, the upcoming elections have been described as an opportunity for change in South Africa's public economics. Analysts continue to interrogate the need for politics to marry socio-economics that are required to foster a change in direction in the country from failure to progress. Historic issues linked to this are contained in a book titled How to Fix a Country, penned by financial policy principal at Krutham, Dr. Roy Havemann. Thank you so much for joining us, Roy. First, the historic economic impediments in this country are well documented. So do tell us, what difference is there in this book with the upcoming elections as well?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, as you say, the historical economic policy ideas have been well documented. In some ways, I've done a refresh and just run through all the big ones, just highlighting that actually there is a plan in place, and what we need to do is actually just accelerate the implementation of plans. I think we're very good in this country of making plans and having ideas, but we're not that great at implementation. And so the book really focuses on how can we drive forward implementation in a quicker and more efficient way.
What would that look like? How does South Africa drive that implementation? It's been non-existent for over 2 decades.
So what I do in the book is I have a look at a number of different other countries. So I have a look at how successful China was, India, Brazil, Colombia, Kenya, Rwanda, etc., and identify how did they go about doing implementation, what were the specific things that they did to drive forward implementation, and identify something that is called a delivery unit in many countries, which is really just a small group of people that focus on getting a very small list of things done, sort of priorities of priorities. I think many countries, as do we, sort of suffer from the problem of trying to do too many things in their economic policy. And what I rather suggest is that we should do a few things and we should get them done, rather than trying to focus on an unbelievable laundry list of issues.
Interesting, because the biggest question has been, why is it that South Africa fails at implementation stage? If we are to bring in politics here, is there will to do so?
Well, I think that's one of the things that the book highlights, is that there have been lots of political impediments to things being done. Often it's the policy of the ruling party, but inside the party there's lots of debate, and that slows things down substantially. I mean, we've certainly seen that on the electricity side, but now progress is slowly being made, which is great. Only the other day, the Electricity Regulation Amendment Bill was signed. It's 2024, and the ideas behind that bill came out in a 1998 white paper. So I agree with you, one really has to ask yourself, what is it about the way that we do things that makes things so long to implement? And sometimes it's political dynamics, sometimes just the practicalities of things are very complicated. But one does get a sense that we need to be more urgent about things. And indeed, one of the things I've been saying a lot is that I think we need to, South Africans, discover some impatience when it comes to economic reform.
Some analysts would argue that the impatience has already reached a boiling point in this country. I'm also interested in finding out, with the current manifestos, be it from the governing ANC as an incumbent and opposition political parties, have those manifestos spoken to the immediacy of things changing in this country at a policy level for the economic turnaround that is required?
Yes, well, I mean, I think all the manifestos, and all of them actually, shares the same sort of problem, is that they are often very long and they have lots of ideas. So, they run to hundreds of pages sometimes, or 10s and 20 pages. I've been through almost all of them. And one does get a sense that there is very little thinking about what shall we try and do next year. In 1 year after the election, what is the 100-day plan if that political party wins? What can we hold them accountable for that they will do within 100 days? Not what is their sort of overall vision for where we want to go, but what are the practical things that we're going to see? Are we, for example, going to see the practical increase in the amount of renewable energy that's brought onto the grid through the renewable energy program? Can we have a target for the number of gigawatts that we'll see? Because that will certainly reduce load shedding. Can we have targets for example, the introduction of performance metrics for civil servants, which is one of the things I suggest? What can we practically see what can we hold our politicians accountable for in the next 100 days?
Dr. Havemann, thank you so much for your time and all the best with the launch of the book, How to Fix a Country, speaking to us this evening about the dynamics in South Africa's political economy.